Yep. And we are live on Twitch. Theoretically. How's it going? You had an interesting evening, sounds like.
Evening or morning?
Morning? Whatever. I don't know.
No, this is all before the Chelsea game started this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Heather stumbles into my apartment and she's like, the elevator dropped with me in it and my back hurts, and I'm like, okay, well, we should probably call some phone numbers that aren't Derek, and sort that out. So then the ambulance came, the fire truck came. Naturally, the fireman couldn't get into the apartment building, couldn't get to the right building because the porter's a shithole. And so I let them in, took them around. They checked Heather out, then took Heather to urgent care. He took x-rays, and now she's passed out on muscle relaxers. So yeah.
I have a lot of questions. I don't know if I'm going to get any answers. Her elevator dropped. She left and walked to your place.
Yeah, and I was like, what's the matter? And she's like, the elevator dropped. And I was like, okay, well, you should probably get checked out. So then she walked back, and then, walked back to the, because, at this point, the elevator, and then the elevator is, stuck below, when it drops, it goes below floor level, because I assume the leveling fails, right? So she then tripped getting off the elevator, and so the elevator was, broken, but nobody really, her property managers don't really work to begin with, but obviously they weren't working on a Sunday, so I don't think anyone was picking up the phone from maintenance or anything else. And she had hit the emergency call button in the elevator because there's no cell service, and they were like, oh, well, have you alerted the maintenance facility? No, it's why the fuck would there be a red emergency call button in the elevator for me to then call somebody else to report the issue? I don't know.
Yeah, this happened to me on this has happened to me twice. One time I was on
Carnival cruise ship?
That big apartment complex that I lived in Annapolis. What's it called? Mariner Bay?
Yeah, I don't know. I never went down there.
Anyway, it's a 13, 14 story building, huge building. Might be the tallest building in Annapolis, actually.
I assume you were living in the bougiest building in Annapolis, an already bougie place. So yeah, this checks out.
But I was on the top floor, got in the elevator, and it the door closed and it dropped. But they have tons of
emergency
safety
brakes, right?
Yeah, and then what happens is it lowers you slowly down to the first floor, and it does stop below the
level,
the final floor.
I
I thought that was weird, but maybe there's something that holds it just below. I don't know. And then actually the second time this happened to me, I maybe didn't even mention this to you. I told Shannon, but when we went on the trip to Park City this year, it happened to me in the elevator at the airport garage at BWI. I got in, it started to go up, and then it just failed. And it's scary. It drops for a second, and then it the safety stuff catches it, and then it lowers you. And in that case, they were really proactive. They came on the intercom and they were like, "Is everyone okay?" And I was like, "It's just me." And they were like, "Okay, we're sending someone there." And I was like, "All right, I got a plane to catch, so I'm going to get out and get on the other elevator." And I just went on with my day. But there's no shot she dropped 6 floors. I would believe
it's only what's the building? I think there's 4 floors or 5 floors. I don't know. She's on the 4th floor, so it would have been 4. But yeah, I'm assuming whatever an emergency brake activated, and then it just jolted.
Yeah, if she dropped 4 floors, she'd have just broken.
Yeah,
limbs.
I mean, it certainly wasn't a free for all. Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
yeah. When you told me that, I was like, this this is an exaggeration.
Heather
was spooked.
Yeah, it didn't just free fall. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, she would.
Because to your point, like modern, I mean, any elevator made after like 1980, like won't free fall unless like you literally like detonate like multiple safety measures on it.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't live in like fucking Alabama, so like no matter how janky that place is, the government is going to inspect that shit.
Yeah, we have government inspectors in Maryland because we live north of the Mason-Dixon. Well, I guess we don't really live north of the Mason-Dixon line. But anyways, we have actual inspections of infrastructure in our state.
Yeah.
And in reading level requirements in middle schools and high schools.
Yeah. All right, well, how many days into the school year did Heather make it before calling in sick?
Oh, shit, that's a good, 3? Like a week. Yeah, it's a good shout. Yeah, they haven't even started teaching curriculum yet. Yeah, just
there
done.
You go. Yeah. All right. Well, that's an eventful morning for
how's
sure.
your weekend going? How's your long weekend going?
Pretty good, actually. We so I hung out with you guys yesterday, caught the EPL matches.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that, but I'm assuming that wasn't like a highlight of your weekend. But I mean,
it was fun. I had fun hanging out with you guys. Okay. Yeah. Watching Tom.
I guess the rest of your weekends just aren't that exciting.
Kick the shit out of
That's
Steven
true.
And...
Yeah, it's not every day you get to witness like borderline child abuse. Yeah.
watching our 38-year-old friend just body his child off the ball.
And then blast the ball at him. Yeah. You're going to play goalkeeper. You're 4.5. It's not disturbed.
I hear shots! Okay, ma'am, calm down. What kind of shots?
All right. I think I'm going to have to start pre-screening these sound clips you're loading.
Oh man, yeah. So that was entertaining, and then Shannon got back from her run, and she was in pretty rough shape actually. Really, anytime I see her,
I was gonna say Shannon's usually in pretty rough shape in general.
Yeah,
the way she kind of lives her life,
Yep.
Trying to be healthy and do stuff.
It's not. She would be the first person to admit that what she does is not healthy.
Yeah.
It's just not. So it obviously takes a lot out of her. And so she went out to. You've seen the pictures where her legs are just shredded from running through bramble.
I remember the story. Yeah, I don't know if I saw the pictures, but that's where they
well,
were
if
running.
you play soccer with her tomorrow, you'll see it.
Yeah.
She went back to that trail and did that again. So her legs are just shredded.
Just for good measure.
Yeah, and then she had to. This time she had to bring a water filter and filter her own water out of a lake there. I don't really remember why that was. She ran 35 miles and then went to Taco Bell, I guess, to just pick every fight she could with her body in one day. So yeah, she was in rough shape last night. And then we hung out, we watched some Top Chef, and then went to Chuck's Trading Post today. Have you ever been there?
I don't even know what that is.
It's really good brunch. It's like this. I think it used to be a general store in Hamden, and it got, I think maybe 8 years ago or something, it was bought out, and they turned it into a general store / breakfast spot. And I think they only make dinner one night a week. They have a burger night. Other than that, it's just brunch, I think. And it was really good. It was very, very good. Yeah, so that's been my week. I'm pretty low key so far. And yeah, I mean, we've got tons of stuff we could go over. We could probably do it. We're not going to. We could probably do a 2-hour episode today between the games and the transfer window closing out. And
yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could do an hour just on, Forest and Wolves, or, maybe an hour and a half on Ipswich Fulham. I know you'd be ready to go.
Yeah, I was just going to ignore
I'm assuming my role is to
obviously.
kind of dial that back, right? So that we can stay under the constraints.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about some matches first, or do you want to cover your thoughts on the transfer window? What order do you want to?
Let's talk about the matches.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so today's matches. Today was a good slate. At face value, I wouldn't say that's how it played out, but I mean, walking back from most recent, United folded pretty quickly, as you would expect them to.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't know what Eric Ten Hag's doing playing Rashford still, when he's got Ahmad available.
He looked really good when he came on.
And he's looked good previously, and I've said the younger players, him and Mano especially, and Xerxes too, right? Like, need to be out there. Xerxes didn't have the best game. The crowd let him have it
for subbing. He subbed off Garnacho for...
I didn't even know if I picked up on that part. Yeah, that's shocking. You're chasing the game and you're subbing off Garnacho. Yeah. Probably been the most dangerous player of the last two seasons.
Diallo subbed on... That's who you were talking about, right? Yeah, he subbed on for Garnacho.
And I don't know, what he's thinking not starting my boy Harry Maguire, but, life's full of choices.
He subbed, so he's got to make dissect work.
Like, but Harry Maguire's football heritage.
Yes. Yeah, he is. He sure is. He also, I think, is better than dissect. But maybe that's debatable.
He might actually be.
I think he's better than Delict.
which goes like, you're like, oh well, they've bought a couple good players. Like, maybe they'll improve. Like, no, like they bought, I
don't trust any of their transfers anymore. Like, they're just like grabbing players out of the Dutch league with. They like Ten Hag is just picking player. Like, I don't know. It's a mess.
Who else? Well, let's talk about theirs. We can talk about their transfers. It was Delit, and then who else did they
Xerxes.
Get? I forgot Xerxes was a trans. Okay, so Xerxes may be okay. I don't know. He looked okay.
Trying to think. I mean, I can look this up pretty.
I mean, they didn't. They should have bought Robinson or somebody to play, or Chilwell to play left back. That sounds like they're going to try and negotiate that in the winter now. Just figure it out later, which is shocking. But yeah, like they spent a bunch of money, but it looked like the same old trash bin. I will say that again, Liverpool looks like they're cruising.
They brought in Lenny Yoro. That was huge.
Right. But
and
he
then
got
immediately got
right?
injured.
Yeah.
Oh, and Manuel Ugarte. So he'll help a lot. Casemiro looked not great in this match.
Casemiro should have had a fucking was bordering on a straight red and like inside of the first 15 minutes of the match. He's such a fucking dirtbag. If there weren't enough reasons to like already hate this team, like mainly the fans and the ownership and every one of the players, like he's just like the icing on the cake at this point.
Yeah, and then Nasser Mazraoui, I think is how you say his last name, picked up from Bayern, the right back.
Yeah, I think
him. Started. Yeah, he started, and he's looked good.
Yeah,
that has been thus far n equals 3.
Yeah,
he's looked pretty good. Yeah, but I don't know, man. This is rough.
Yeah, I don't
it's
see
really rough.
I don't see
Johnny
Garte
Evans on their bench, who I think I saw announced his retirement from international football this week. It's rough. It's not good. It's not looking good, man.
Yeah, because I mean I think that defense is going to get torched all season, even if like Ugarte helps the midfield.
Yeah. And it's I just saw it. Dude, their midfield and defense. Delict with a 6.1, Lisandro Martinez with a 5.9, Manu 5.9, Casemiro 5.8.
Yeah,
Xerxes,
Manu's just
5.6.
catching strays at this point. But yeah, that it's not going to get better. If Rashford doesn't look like he's even like improving slightly. I mean, I guess he had the first play of the game looked okay, and then like just faded the rest.
I'll have to dig into this. I don't know. So Manu is deployed pretty defensively in this system.
Yeah.
They don't have like a very progressive passing midfielder, and they're definitely not getting that in Ugarte. I mean, they have like if they have at 10, Bruno is obviously phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
the setup isn't going to work.
Yeah,
at this level.
Why isn't he playing Maguire and like why did Delict come off? Maybe it's fitness. I don't know. I can't come up
He's on a yellow too, but
well both of them were. Martinez, Delict,
true.
Manu, and Xerxes all on yellows. Some things that Luis Diaz. So the score of this one finished 3-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Liverpool looked good for it too. They could have scored a few more.
Yeah, Diaz, Soberslai, and Salah basically all balled out. I think in different ways, each of them could have gotten the match ball. Jota in front of him didn't do shit because he's a little 5'0" scrub. Squibbed 8 yards wide. Should have had Nunez out there.
So good. Why is
Gakpo.
Jota at 9?
They played him there a lot last season.
Yeah.
But by
weird.
himself, it doesn't make sense. I mean, you got Gakpo and Nunez. I don't get it, but yeah. But Liverpool looks good.
They must really be ready to turn the page on this Nunez experiment. Anyway, Nunez and Gakpo, Hackpo. How do you? I don't know how you pronounce
Gakpo.
It's just Gakpo. Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard people call it
I don't know where
Hackpo.
he came in though. He's not really a 9 as much as he is a winger, but he came in on the left. Gakpo likes to come in on the wing, cut in. Yeah, they've played him up top. It's kind of like this square peg stuff, and because they don't have any faith in Nunez. But I don't think Nunez has looked that bad this season. To be fair, it's not a best look to go into the stands and start clapping fans' heads against each other, but shit happens. Ron Artest will tell you life goes on.
He's just a mayhem engine. He's gonna take shots. Like put the ball at his feet anywhere near the.
Who do you think would win a reading contest between Jack Grealish and Darwin Nunez?
I don't. I guess it depends on what time of day. And
true.
And how many
like,
pints.
is it after 11 a.m. and Jack started drinking?
Yeah. If Jack started hitting the pints, then yeah. But yeah, this one pretty brutal for if you're a Man United fan, and if you're me, phenomenal to watch this one.
You wouldn't rather United put one over on Liverpool?
No, you're just
here for the shit pile.
I hate Man United so much that I just
don't even care. Yeah,
I don't care. I'll take the L's anywhere I can get them, and I don't know, man. I don't know how long Ten Hag lasts. He barely survived last season. I hope he stays. Remember Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? How long he lasted?
Yeah.
Everybody thought he was going to be. They could keep him. Ten Hag.
I mean,
for a while.
they're not quite as quick on the trigger as the next team we'll talk about, which is the Chelsea Football Company.
Yeah, okay. Let's just go to that. We could 3-0 could have been a lot more.
Yeah.
Actually, a goal got ruled off for I think it was like offsides. Like Salah got involved in a goal that what's his name, Trent scored, and Allison made a great save at one point in this one. I think it was Xerxes who was in. Maybe it was Bruno. Anyway, I just remember Allison making a really phenomenal save. He is nearly Liverpool's highest. Oh no, he's not. I'm lying. He is the fourth highest rated player on Liverpool. Salah with a 9.5. Diaz with an 8. Diogo Jota with a perfect 10. I made that up. That was
yeah. I see the actual rating. So
yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let's talk about Chelsea Football Company, Blue Co. Yeah, what I want to hear your thoughts on this before I give mine.
yeah, I mean, it's not. I saw 80% of the game in between this morning's activities. I mean, it's not good enough. Luke is mostly full of shit when he talks about the statistics and not meeting anything. But like, when you're getting 63% accuracy or possession and 90% pass accuracy, and you're tying Crystal Palace 1-1 at home, like that's a problem.
Yeah.
Whether it's payroll or players or coaching or whatever the fuck it is, right? And you know, Neto didn't do much in this one. It's tough to pinpoint like what went wrong. Again, like we give up, you know, a fairly soft goal where we just don't close the guy off, so you're gonna blame it on that. But I mean, we've seen that happen so many times against Palace and all these other mid-table teams last season, and just we can't figure it out between our defensive midfield and our defensive structure how to prevent this shit in games that we're winning. And you know, the other thing, you know, from a transfer front, we can talk through like what else went on there, but you know, we bring Sancho in, which I think is really good business, and I'm not quite sure what the rotation ends up looking like. Like maybe Neto plays between Madueke and it's Sancho and Nkunku and whoever, Mudryk rotating on the left or whatever it is. But like unless Sancho, like we bought Sancho a couple days ago, he's there. Like, so I don't understand this whole thing of not being available for. Like, do you need to teach somebody that's been playing soccer since they were 5 years old how to play a 4-2-3-1? Like, it's not that revolutionary what it's like to go play on the left or the right in that. And so, like, if Sancho's going to be the starter, which I'm guessing he's going to be for the next game, like, I don't know why he wasn't available for this match. But he's obviously rested. But
I think that would be highly irregular. He's had no. He's.
I mean, I
no
guess,
matches.
but like this isn't the NFL where you're memorizing plays. And fuck it, I mean, Lamar Jackson can memorize plays. Like it's not that hard to get out there and play soccer. But
they have pretty specific tactical, like the way they work things up in possession. There's clearly like patterns of play that Maresca has a very, very specific system.
Well, his system didn't do shit today. I mean, Neto's not a bad player, and whatever between him, Palmer, Jackson, Madueke, they get one goal. I mean, Madueke almost scored. I mean, to be fair, right? And there are other chances there. But
I think Palmer should have scored. João Felix could have done better. I don't remember. Neto had a poor game. I just remember Neto being bad and Mudryk looking a lot better. I also remember the announcers calling Mudryk Madueke, at least the American announcers, and then at one point Levi Colwill was taking a free kick and they called him Cole Palmer. It was
all right.
Just like I don't know what's going on.
Well,
with
it is later in the
janky
day
crew
over there, so
Yeah.
I mean, if they're anything like Pat McAfee, they've already had 6 to 12 beverages before they go on air.
Yeah, so I think the move here, Neto prefers to play on the right.
Right.
Sancho prefers to play on the left. Neto and Madueke are going to compete for that position down the right, which is fine.
Well, yeah, except there's no competition at the moment, right? Like Madueke looks far and above how Neto's playing.
Yeah. Sancho also hasn't played. Like, Man United was not playing him. He didn't go to the Euros. I don't think he went to the Olympics. He would have. So, like, he could lack match fitness. To just cover that real quick. So Chelsea secures Sancho with a it's a loan with an obligation to buy that will trigger at either £20 million or it will trigger at £25 million, depending on how he plays this season, which is it's pretty cool that they structured it that way. For perspective, he was purchased by Man United for 100 million euros. So it's a 24-year-old. That's great business, and I think he's perfect for this system. He's a very tricky winger. He does the things that Maresca clearly wants his wing. He wants his wingers to receive the ball to feet and be able to beat a man and make a very an incisive pass that takes players out of the equation. So
yeah, he does. To your point, right? Like where it's about patterns of play and passing and movement, right? Like we talked about how just ultra effective he was doing that for Dortmund last season, particularly in their Champions League run, where he often looked like the best player on the field on a very good team. And if he can bring even just a piece of that, I think he, to your point, fits in very well with the role Maresca wants him to fill there, and gives it's a stark contrast to what Mudryk brings to the table generally.
The wingers in this system are the most important part of the system.
Yeah, I think that's why Madueke's looked as good as he has the last couple weeks, right?
Yeah, and I meant to shout this out last week. Madueke is scoring with his right foot, and that has to have been a deliberate, something that he's worked on. He was a very one-footed winger last season.
True.
And I think he scored one goal off his right for sure. I think he's just taken I'm thinking across all competitions. I don't know that he's scored in Europe, but he's got a rocket on both feet at this point, or he's more confident using both. Something has been worked out there. He's just becoming a very, very complete winger. So this is just one of those matches where Chelsea did everything right except finish the chances they had, and it's kind of, it's a tale as old as time with this team, and it points to the ownership's. Well, it's hard to say that Nico was even the problem in this match. I mean, he finished. He should have scored a second one in the I think in the 90 plus 3.
I'm pretty objective when it comes to Nico, unlike not to name names, unlike other people on this podcast, but I thought that that play was well done. Controlling the ball, beating the back line, taking touches, and releasing the shot when he needed to. It was a really good save, I think, for the keeper to get his hand up there. But I don't think this one's on Jackson. Yeah,
and Jackson, the goal he did score, not only did he tap that in when he should have, he also is responsible for drawing the yellow on Will Hughes, which made it so that he could not pull Noni Madueke, I think it was, down on the break. Yeah. So, I think this was just a strong match for Nico all around. But, if you have consistent underperforming your XG issues for, as long as this ownership has been here and predating this ownership for sure, you got to find some killers. They should have. They thought that they could get Osimhen done. We need a 9. There just has to be a 9. There needs to be competition for Jackson, true competition.
I'm expecting a full apology be issued to Nico Jackson on your behalf after the things you're saying here today.
For what?
saying we need
Dude,
a true number 9.
The head of the Nico Jackson fan club.
I know. Now you're saying
But
we need a true number 9. I mean,
did you see he extended to 2033 today?
For who, Nico?
Yeah, he signed a contract extension till 2033.
I don't have a problem with that. Yeah, I mean, I mean, like this. So on the Osimhen thing, I mean, there's two things, right? One is like the fit, and the other is the transfer saga. From a fit standpoint, I'm with you. I don't think we needed Osimhen, unless you're backtracking on that now. But I thought you said we didn't need him.
I didn't want Osimhen.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Specifically Osimhen. I think that...
But we need another number 9.
We need competition for... Nico.
Yeah.
Like, there just has to be... There's no true competition for him. You could say Mark Gui.
Yeah.
You could say that... But he's not really competent. That's a child who we're bringing along. That was a opportunistic transfer, and clearly he's not seen as like a true challenger to Nico, as encouraging as he's looked. But yeah, I don't know. Ivan Toney maybe would have been okay. I'm not as like gassed on Ivan Toney as a lot of people seem to be. I think that the sample that we have of Ivan Toney performing well is in a strike pair, which we don't play. And he's never, like, what you look for in a good 9 is someone who outperforms their XG.
Yeah.
And he never has. So
True.
Osimhen does. But Osimhen, like, he's done it in Serie A. I have not really seen a lot of success with Serie A strikers translating to EPL success, and he clearly has a huge ego. Like, we just got ourselves out of the Lukaku nightmare, and
like, he's got all kinds of shades of Lukaku in him.
Yeah, Osimhen seems perfectly.
Though I do have a counter view on some of that, but yeah, I mean, I think when Sancho's available, right, then you've got Nkunku, Zhao, Neto, Mudryk, Felix coming off the bench.
Mudryk, who looked good today, by the way.
Yeah, I did think he looked good. He got the ball. He's been doing better at getting the ball off his feet at the right moments instead of holding it as long. And the passes actually look good, and they're to feet. So I'll give him credit for that. So, I mean, I think between Zhao and Nkunku, they can... they're not going to press Jackson, but they give us somebody off the bench, and it's tough because Jackson maybe isn't world class, but he's not a top 5 striker. But is Jackson a top 15 striker in the world? I don't know that he's not at the moment.
I think he probably is.
Yeah, and so that's tough to say. Like, that's where we need to fix things. But if the opportunity presents itself in the winter, then I think we should take it. Now, in terms of the transfer mess, I mean, like, I think the bigger issue is just Chelsea in general, right? You have all these players that got stranded on our side that are going to train with the U21s. Players like Fofana and Chile and Disasi, or whoever, right? We didn't sell everyone we needed to. Meanwhile, we're sending a delegation to negotiate with Osimhen in a circus, and we can sit. Yeah, I think that honestly, I think there's a lot of whitewashing that went on here in terms of comparing Osimhen to Lukaku, not present company included necessarily, but like this whole notion like Osimhen should have just taken a fucking pay cut and gone to Chelsea or just gone to Saudi. Like, I'm glad this isn't like the NFL where contracts aren't guaranteed and people just the bunch of white owners can just cut it anytime they want, right? In soccer, like, they're beholden to paying Osimhen what they agreed to, and they signed an extension. What was it, in December, right? With their mind on turning that into sales revenue for the club, and they couldn't accomplish that. If they really wanted to move him on instead of wasting a season, they could have subsidized his salary to Chelsea, I'm sure, right? And Chelsea, for their part, wouldn't back down. I don't know that. I think that maybe it was one of the few things they did right in this disaster of a transfer saga over the last 12 months. But, I'm not going to fault Osimhen for saying, this is what I agreed to, this is what I'm owed, and if you're not going to play me or move me on to where I want to go and pay me those wages, then I'll sit here and collect the wages. But I don't expect him to take a pay cut to go do something else.
I think that's pretty heavy-handed to call this whitewashing. Like, that's not fucking racism to say that, like, the parallels are pretty easy.
Well,
to
last
draw.
time I saw this, I mean, Lukaku aside, I mean, last time I can think of it being this ostracized, right, was Braithwaite. I mean, again, like I don't know that it's necessarily as much racism. It's just the fact that there's a bunch of white and Saudi owners, and that's it. But the owners don't need any protection in this situation. The players do, and so something doesn't sit well with me about the backlash towards Osimhen in this saga.
I don't know how much backlash there is, but I know how I feel about it, which is he has been perfect. The parallel between the two is Lukaku had that interview with the Italian media where he said that he loves Italy. He wants to go back. Like within 6 months of the infamous interview, unsanctioned interview with Italian media, Osimhen has done that. Like, it has been an open secret that he wants to leave the club. He did an interview, like he did an interview where he said he knows what he's doing next, and like went in public and said he's leaving the club. It's his last season. That's why they came into this transfer window. Like, Conte got there, and Conte has said, I've been told by Osimhen and by the club that Osimhen is not in my plans, so I'm not planning on Osimhen. And that was Osimhen's doing. And so Osimhen has, like, he limited his options by doing that. Just like our options have been limited with Lukaku for a long time. And Lukaku has collected his paycheck, and Osimhen can sit there and collect his paycheck, but he's 24, and now he's not going to play. The club is furious with him because he's created this situation where, like, he's eliminated their ability to go out and sell him, so they're not going to play him. And if he wanted to chase the bag, fine. The offer was there from Saudi. The Napoli would have taken more of a transfer fee from Saudi, and Osimhen would have been paid something crazy like $30 million a year. Yeah. If he wanted to chase the bag, that option was there for him, and he turned that down because he knew what that would mean for his legacy. And from there, I don't know what the details were. Like, we don't know if Napoli was willing to cover some of his wages to go to Chelsea, but Osimhen knew that there would be an expiration on that. Like, his position was he wasn't taking 1 penny less than what he was, €1 less, I think is the quote, than what he was being paid by Napoli. Which is fine, yeah. He has a contract, and that's his right, but, like, this isn't going to help his legacy. And if he doesn't care about that, then fine. That's, he can choose to take this path, and he is. But pretty shocking. And I was happy to see Chelsea back off, stick to their guns. There are plenty of players who have been willing to lower their wages to come and play for Chelsea. I don't know why they're doing that, but
it's the better question at all.
Yeah, I have no idea why they're doing that, but this team has been successful at convincing players that they're cooking up something special, and they should make concessions to come and be a part of it. And they lose that if they cave on their structure for Osimhen. Yeah. So,
well, I think this is where, to that point, right? Like, they backed off, and it was the right thing. I don't know maybe the people in the room understand the dynamic better, but I don't think the casual fans are paying attention to the transfer fee plus the wages that some of these transfers are taking on, right? And so, like,
Yeah.
the market value, whatever, I'm sure I almost, to your point, it almost doesn't matter what the Saudis are willing to pay because it's just it's fucking camel bucks, but it's it's funny money. It's might as well be playing Monopoly, and in reality, he wasn't worth whatever transfer fee we agreed to pay Napoli for because we would have had to take on such astronomical salaries, right? And so, but that's a gamble Napoli, I think, took when they signed that extension to a point. And so, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe you're right, and he can't even move on in the winter, and he just languishes there for another 12 months. I don't know. But part of me feels like they're just going to have to cut the transfer fee and try and move him on in the winter.
Yeah. Somebody will, I imagine, will go in for him in the winter.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a guy who, like, clearly has a huge ego and is more than happy to go out and create these challenging situations for his club. So I don't want him at Chelsea. I just got off that ride, So that's my position on him. If he, whatever, I wouldn't want to take a pay cut at my job, so I can understand him not wanting to take a pay cut at his job, but he didn't do a whole lot to help that happen for him and him continue to progress his legacy as a soccer player.
Yeah, it seems like he overstated his value even to himself of like
he also had a
his
shit
options.
season last year.
Yeah.
He was fighting with the club on social media and stuff all season, and part of that was the club's fault. They did some boneheaded shit. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty rare situation where, like, I feel like everybody lost. Like, Chelsea hard committed to that because they thought they had Osimhen and Napoli in a situation where they were the only option.
Yeah.
Like, nobody considered that Osimhen would just be like, all right, I'm fine with not playing. I'll just sit here and collect, like, cash checks. Like, nobody thought he would do that. So that's why they send this delegation and gave up on all of their other options.
Like, where was the fallback plan in that, right? If you really felt like you needed a number 9, like, it's not like he's the only one on the market, and there's all this noise around him. It's like, why was this the only strategy?
Yeah,
right?
that
like,
I don't get. But
I mean,
Chelsea lose, Osimhen loses, Napoli is the biggest loser because they have Lukaku.
And they're paying Osimhen now.
Yeah,
and they didn't get transfer fee for him yet.
Yeah, and they're
gonna have to play McTominay.
Yeah, they made a splash in the market, and I don't know. These Italian, like, a lot of these Italian clubs have been on a razor's edge with FFP, and I don't know what Napoli's situation looks like, but it's not hard to imagine that they committed to some of these transfers that they made with the thought that Osimhen would be leaving for sure. So they could. I mean, I think that they're in a big. They're in trouble. Like, I think it's going to be really challenging to move Osimhen on. I think the Saudi window closes today, so it's possible he could move. But the issue is that the clubs that were in for him in Saudi, there's a 10 foreigner limit in Saudi, and they don't have, because, well, the one club that signed Tony, that basically took their one open foreigner position. Now they just make up their own fucking rules there, so they could.
Yeah, when you said there was rules in the Saudi league, I had to start googling what exactly those might be.
Yeah. So they have a 10 foreigner limit in their squads, and they have stuck to that. Now that hasn't stopped some of these teams from acquiring more players.
Yeah.
So, but there are teams that have, like, a handful of aging like European soccer stars that they can't register because of their league rules. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if they'll move someone on somehow, but yeah, I mean, the Osimhen, that whole situation, it's crazy. I was watching Fabrizio Romano's transfer window.
He must have been incomprehensible in that accent of his trying to go through this situation.
He said that in his career he's never seen a situation like this. Like he was just like, he was basically like, I was convinced something would happen here, and it like the situation as it stands is unimaginable. Like, and he was basically like, Napoli is in trouble here. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, good for Chelsea. I guess not everybody is a total loser. Like, Chelsea doesn't have the striker they thought they needed, and Napoli is completely fucked. But I mean, Osimhen gets to get paid, and somebody will pick him up. I'm surprised Arsenal didn't go in for him, but yeah.
Is that a cheap shot at Kai?
No, is Kai playing? Where did he line up for them yesterday?
I'm assuming
let's
he's
talk
playing
about
as a
that
fake
match.
striker again.
So
I don't know.
What do you think about? Did you see the red card?
Yeah, in real time. I thought the other guy was getting the red
So
card.
did I. So did I.
Then like the announcers were like, "Well, by the letter of the law," like shit.
I did line up as a 9 for them yesterday. Scored a beauty of a goal.
Yeah, I thought he looked good yesterday. But like above replacement level, which isn't something I would say about him often. But
yeah.
I mean, João Pedro might still be the best attacker that was on the field. Well, Saka had a good game. Saka's probably the best attacker, but I think João Pedro is probably a better striker.
João Pedro's really good,
point.
man.
But I don't even think João Pedro was lined up as a striker, was he? He was in the middle. But anyways, yeah, Welbeck too. I think Welbeck and Pedro are both better strikers than Kai Havertz is, but Kai had a good game. I don't know. Yeah, the red card just it defies. Like, I actually agree with Arteta that like there needs to be some consistency and like just sanity about this stuff. I mean, like, we see people purposely blocking free kicks constantly. Mm-hmm. Kai's got his back turned and legitimately knew nothing about that, I don't think. And like, the guy was clearly striking out at him and kicked the crap out of him. Like I don't know what other take to have on this.
I don't know. I forget who was involved in that on Brighton's side, but yeah.
I mean, it's Arsenal, so I don't really give a shit, but like, objectively speaking, like, it's pretty asinine, and obviously that changed the game. It's disappointing Brighton couldn't put another one in on them, and this one finished 1-1 with Brighton scoring after the red. But
I thought that was like, it's pretty interesting. Arteta very obviously from that point on just sort of decided to park the bus and play for at first a win, and then he seemed happy to take the point.
Well, because Brighton's not a bad team. Like, there's teams that if they were a bottom third team, I think you might approach it differently, or be less worried about them tying it and or scoring a winner. But that was probably the pragmatic approach, especially given their defense has been very, very good for a long run of it.
Yep. I think it's crazy that Milner is starting for Brighton. Like, how old is Milner?
That does raise some questions, because what's his name? Yeah, Enciso could be. I guess Enciso's more of an attacking midfielder, so I misspoke there. But yeah, I don't know. You would think they'd rearrange something so they get somebody a little bit more progressive at this stage.
Enciso's he's 38.
Ayari came in.
My knees hurt thinking about that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else from this one? I mean, Saka continues to look good. Or I think Arsenal will be fine in games where they don't take a red card in the first 15 minutes or whenever that was. And actually, it was at the end of the half. Sorry. So that was the end of the first half. But
it was the
Or was it the beginning of the second half? I don't know.
49th minute, beginning of the second
Okay.
half. Yeah, it's pretty shocking to see the red he was given.
I should say it's a double yellow, not a straight red.
Right,
but
it's a double yellow.
Yeah.
He'll get a 1-match ban. It's his first red of his career, I think is what they said.
It's a bit surprising for a central midfielder. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty...
That's the other part that's surprising, right? Is like you're giving the team captain, Declan Rice, a double yellow.
Yeah. Was he the captain on the day?
Was he not in this one? Maybe not.
I don't know. I don't know
just
who their
assuming he's
captains
going
are.
out.
I don't follow them closely enough to...
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Odegaard was
Maybe.
usually, but I don't see it on here.
Anyways, I think that's a very odd person to be giving a double yellow to. But
Yeah. It was shocking to see because, again, it looked like he was fouled. I thought for sure whoever it was over there, they were getting the yellow, not Declan Rice. But, I mean, to the letter of the law, that he should have been shown a yellow for that.
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot of debate around this and like clarification that has to come from the PL.
Well, they already said that the rule is he interfered with the kick.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. Like, yeah. I mean, the PL has been pretty consistent in that they don't believe there needs to be any sanity or reason or consistency in anything. You just follow the rule book, and like the rest of us can suck it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's it for this one. What are the other matches? So yesterday you know what we should talk about is this Everton game. Just because Everton is a dumpster fire.
Yeah, that was
87th minute.
Yeah, just
Everton is up 2-0.
hard selling. Yeah, I mean, if there's anything ripe for like a betting investigation, it was probably the end of this one. Yeah, Everton just. I mean, Dyche might have had money on the over or something. I don't know.
Dude, Kepa Arrizabalaga on SofaScore has a 7.6, and he let 2 goals in. That's pretty wild. He must have made some crazy saves.
6 saves, though. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, 6 saves, 5 big chances. They scored twice. Right. So to wrap that thought up, so Everton 2, Bournemouth 3. Everton in the 87th minute of this one was up 2-0 on a Keane goal and a Calvert-Lewin goal. Then Semenyo, Lewis Cook, I think it's Lewis, and then Sinistera, just scoring 87th minute, 90 plus 2, 90 plus 6. Incredible.
Dyche, by the way, using 2 of his allotted 5 subs in this one.
Yeah, and one of it was to take his goal scorer out.
So, you know.
Calvert-Lewin off in the 88th minute for Beto.
Pretty remarkable stuff.
Yeah. Beto I thought was going to be good, man. I thought I saw like some clips of him in the Portuguese league, and he was just a monster. He works really hard. He's just shit. He's just not good.
Yeah, you had praises for him pretty recently. I mean, I could very much see Everton being out of, like, firmly in the relegation zone and them having this selling Calvert-Lewin at the winter break. But
well, they have to sell him. He's in the final year of his deal. So they basically, if they're going to get anything at all for him, they have to sell him in the winter or figure out a way to get him to extend and with shit like this.
I cannot fucking believe nobody, Arsenal or Chelsea or somebody didn't make a play for him at the 90th minute.
He's so injury prone.
True, but like if you've got Chelsea's, we've got a 27-man roster. It's not an issue if somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, I mean that's true, and I don't know. Like they probably should have put a call in and asked what the price would be. But yeah, it. I don't know. That will be one to watch at the transfer window for sure. Calvert-Lewin, especially. I mean, he had a great game.
Yeah, almost. I mean, with only one. I shouldn't say only one. I mean, their attackers were okay, but they gave him the lead, right? In fairness, but
yeah,
the defense couldn't hold it, and Dyche didn't do him any favors. But I think Everton's in trouble. I think Leicester has a good chance of staying up, and Everton's going down. Would be my guess at this point.
Yeah, who do you think goes down? Ipswich?
I assume Ipswich and Southampton are going right back down.
And Everton,
with Everton along for the ride.
Okay. I think I probably agree with you. Although
Ipswich hasn't looked terrible, but I think there's a disparity in talent there.
Yeah, Ipswich. I mean, spent big in the window.
In fairness, they get a tie this week, right? So they tied Fulham 1-1. I don't know if there's much more to talk about that game. Fulham's underperforming again. Looks lackluster. And Anthony Robinson needs to get the hell out of there.
Are they underperforming, or are they performing as expected? I mean,
they're underperforming. I mean, they're going to be...
You think they should be better than 12th?
They should be... But yeah, I mean, they're in danger of, based on how, in my opinion, of how they've been playing, of being down in like the relegation conversation.
Yeah,
I mean, again, like picking up a point against Ipswich isn't going to get it done.
I'm looking at, so you've got City, Liverpool, Brighton, Arsenal, Newcastle as the top 5, and then behind them, Brentford. Do you think Fulham's better than Brentford?
Not right now. I mean, I would have expected them to be, but Brentford's far outplaying them.
Like when you say they're underperforming.
Yeah, I mean, I think Fulham's underperforming relative to Brentford.
Dude,
relative
Wissa is
to
so good.
West
Where
Ham.
did he come from? Wissa, like, at some point last season, just started a ball for Brentford. I think he scored yesterday. I think I saw he scored yesterday. Anyway, Bournemouth, I think, are going to be really good. Villa, Forest will probably drop. Like, I just have no faith in that team at all.
Yeah, like, for me, Forest and Fulham are right next to each other, right? And where that finishes, I don't know, like down in 15th or 16th, potentially.
Yeah. Tottenham and Chelsea, even on points. I didn't watch the Tottenham match today against Newcastle, but they lost.
I was
to
dealing
Newcastle
with some stuff. But yeah,
well, I was watching Chelsea, and then I watched Man United, Liverpool, and now we're recording. But
I caught the highlights of the Tottenham game. That high line, and they were like they eviscerated. I don't know if you caught any of the post game, but they basically pulled the Ryan Orr evisceration of Ange Ball being found out and tore apart the high line. I mean,
love it.
Christian Romero was like. Somehow, like there's only like 60 yards between the midlay line and the goal line, I guess, right? Something like that. Somehow, Christian Romero was 50 yards away from the goal when the goal was scored. Like they broke the line and he just stood there. And I mean, I don't know when Tottenham decides to start doing something differently. I mean, I hope they don't. I hope they just keep throwing the same shit at the wall. But like their defense is getting exposed, and that's what we saw. Newcastle's too good attacking and too clinical to let that go.
I think the good times with Ange are over for Tottenham. I just think that
it's feeling that way.
They just got found out. It was like, I think there was this shock and awe effect, and teams have figured out how to deal with it. And Ange seems too stubborn to, like, I don't know what sample Luke was looking at when he would say that he thought that Ange would like employ like whatever the next level tactics of his system were. But like it's just, I mean, he hasn't been at any team for any substantial amount of time. Like, it's usually 2 to 3 seasons.
To have like this multi-year progression of advancing, developing, and maturing the tactics.
If you listen to him at press conferences, like the the press will be like, why didn't you make some changes? And he'll just be like, because that's not who we are. He doesn't want a set piece coach. He doesn't want to work on anything, any of the glaring issues. And if he doesn't come off that, then it's going to be a long season for Tottenham. Yeah. And I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean his substitution pattern made sense in this one, but yeah, like you got to do something to change the tactics so you're not going down in a hole constantly and getting countered constantly for goals for sure.
Yeah. Where's this match? I was trying to pull it up.
So yeah, that one ends 2-1 in Newcastle's favor. Barnes and Isak both scoring.
Isak's so good. Lewis Hall. I bet they wish they could have backed out of that Lewis Hall deal. I think we absolutely destroyed them on that exchange. I think Lewis Hall is fine, but Bergvall in for Madison, Brennan Johnson in for Sarr. We forgot to mention that Malagusto got hurt in that Chelsea match, which is huge.
Yeah, his hamstring looked pretty jacked up the way he just stopped there.
Yeah.
Which is problematic because I don't know how close James is to being ready to play any minutes. It sounded like he wasn't going to be ready until after the international break, which I guess, are we in the international break next weekend?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe we're okay there. We'll just see.
Dude, to me, this looks like, having not watched this match, it looks like Tottenham just dominated this game and lost. I mean, they had similar big chances, 2 big chances apiece. Newcastle's XG is higher, 1.57 to 1.26. 20 shots to 9 for Tottenham. Tottenham maintained 66% possession. 12 corner kicks to their 7, double the passes. Not double the tackle rate, but much higher tackle rate. I don't know. This looks like Tottenham just dominated this game and got counterpunched, which is what will happen if you're playing a crazy high line like that.
Now,
Vicario is coming back to earth. Vicario is another one who has found out he's soft as fuck.
Yeah, true. The Dutch Lightning guys hurt, I guess, right? Van de Ven's
hurt again?
Van de Ven. It wasn't
Did
available
you say
in
the
this
Dutch
one.
Lightning guy?
Yeah, it's fast as shit. I mean,
yeah.
Because, you don't, it's fine to play a high line and play, just exert your possession, right? But, City does that in a way that they're not completely exposed on the counter every time somebody takes it back. And granted, they have Kyle Walker, and Tottenham should have Van de Ven back there, but yeah, I mean, Romero and Dragusin weren't up for it, that's for sure.
It's a knee injury for Van de Ven. I don't think I had an opportunity to say this to Luke because he's never around. But Dragusin he seems pretty good. He's a good backup for Van de Ven. Although looks like, so in this case Van de Ven is left-footed. Van de Ven plays on the left side of the pair. Looks like they just moved Romero over and Dragusin played on the right. So Dragusin must be right-footed. He looked great in the Euros. I thought he looked very, very good in the Euros.
Yeah, fair.
I hadn't spent a lot of time watching him, but that's probably a good pickup for them.
But again, at the Euros, you're not having your center backs stand at the midway line like a fucking lunatic like Ange does.
Yep. I don't know. And what helps playing that style is having the fastest center back in the league available. Yep. I mean, they looked really bad without him. I made a joke that last season he won their player of the season and he only played 2/3 of the matches because of injury. The problem is it's one of those things that it's you burn really bright. You burn out very bright and fast when you're that style of player. If you're that size and that quick, a lot of times you end up being so prone to injury.
Yeah. You got to figure out how to play within that style and stuff. I mean, Van Dijk's very fast and he's big.
Yeah.
It just made it work for the most part. But had a pretty healthy career. Let's put it that way. But yeah, it's tougher. Obviously that's why I'm injured constantly, is because I'm cultivating mass and I've got speed.
Derek ate 2 breakfast sandwiches yesterday. And I saw you eyeing up that Jimmy John's.
Yeah, but I wasn't triggered that they didn't order food with me. I was triggered that there was more food ordered and I wasn't even
and you
salted.
weren't included in the order.
Am I just? You think I'm done eating today? Because you watched me eat 2 bagel sandwiches. One of them is turkey sausage. There's no calories in that. I don't think.
It's like a vegetable.
Yeah, it's just protein.
Yeah.
Anyways, digress.
What happened to Gio Reyna?
He's still at Dortmund. The scuttlebutt is they see him being important to them this season and taking on a bigger role.
Okay, I mean that's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm trying to. I don't have I should have put together a full recap of kind of the Yanks transfers, and maybe I can do my job and talk about that next week. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Austin Trusty, I think, moved on to a better spot. Gio stayed put. I don't know if anyone big even moved. There was the one guy that went. Aiden Morris is at Middlesbrough, right? I don't know if that was how long ago that was in the transfer window. That might have been a couple of weeks ago, right? But that's going to be a good spot where he's going to get a ton of playing time, and he's looked good over in Europe. But we can talk, maybe talk more about Yanks in the ranks next week, because all we have a bullshit friendly against Canada next weekend. We have to get the fuck with Jesse Marsh. I will say, from a Yanks in the ranks perspective, Pulisic got an assist, so I think he's got a goal and assist through 2 games in this season, if I'm up to date. AC conceded, I'd say, 2 soft goals against Lazio again. Ends up tying 2-2. They decided to spend money on Tammy Abraham so they could have like a 7th attacker and no defense again. So I shut that game off halfway through because I can't fucking watch that team anymore because of how bad the defense is. Like, they're going to score goals, and it's fun to watch Pulisic and Leao and in that attack. Loftus-Cheek's playing well, but like I don't understand how they keep changing coaches and they can't do anything to fix that defense. That's kind of ancillary to this podcast, but Pulisic continues to look good, which is good. It's just disappointing not to kind of have him, given his output, to have them in that conversation as a top team in Serie A, which maybe they will be. It's a long season, but their defense looks like the same stuff over and over again.
They just picked up Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? They went out and bought another attacker.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you say that? I might have missed.
Yeah,
that.
I glossed
Sorry.
over it, but yes, that's a good call out, right? So Tammy, they adding to their collection of former Chelsea players.
Yeah.
Tammy Abraham's there now, so I mean, like, yeah, they can score goals, but winning games requires defense. If you ask anyone other than Ange,
I have a Yanks shout out for you. And
okay.
I alluded to this in the Discord. You guys should all come join our Discord. There's lots of... We're chopping it up in there these days. But Slonina, I was talking about how shit Matt Turner is. He's shit, and we should get rid of him. He's shit. Gaga Slonina has played 4 matches with Barnsley now, and he has dropped a 7-5, a 6-6, a 7-8, and an 8-5 in his matches for Barnsley. He played out of his skull against Sheffield in the EFL Cup for them. And then they won on penalties in the EFL Cup against Wigan. And that's the one he got the 8-5 in. But yeah, he's killing it. He's Poch, if you're I know you listen. I know you subscribe. You love hearing what I have to say about you. You should take a hard look at Slonina and send Matt Turner packing. Because he's fucking trash. Matt Turner is trash.
It's weird how that pool's become so depleted. It's interesting. I don't know if you've the media's been pretty bright on in to their credit. Zach Steffen's been playing well stateside, and so I think he could be back in the mix. Or at least playing his way back into the mix. And so, yeah, I mean, at least there's some competition there at this point. It's tricky. You don't see a lot of 20-year-old goalkeepers getting call-ups at the senior level. But, in fact, I don't know if I assume he's in the call-ups of this friendly against Canada. Probably should have looked at that, but...
Well,
they haven't even given I don't think they've announced the squad for next week.
Oh, I don't know.
But they've
Beggars
got
can't be
Turner,
choosers.
Horvath, and Stronita. Yeah, so he should be in the mix, which is good. We need somebody to push Turner
off a
it's
bridge.
Not Horvath. Yeah, I'm not gonna hate on the guy that much because of what he did for us in the Gold Cup and some of the other tournaments, and I don't know, just because there hasn't been somebody behind him at times, right? But yeah, I mean, it's not where where we need to have our goalkeeper player pool be if we're going to be competitive with the top teams. Like, yeah, he's not it.
Yeah. The question from one of our listeners was, how the hell is Matt Turner earning a living in the Prem? Lovely lad, but come on.
I mean, you make yourself. I mean, there's only so many starters on top 25 national teams, right? So I think he got some credibility for that. He stood on his head in the Gold Cup, and yeah, I mean the body of work's not that bad. But yeah, is he a world class keeper? No.
I don't even know where he's playing.
Somebody posted that. Jeez. Yeah,
he's at Palace.
That's right. Okay.
This dude is in London playing at Palace. I mean, he obviously didn't play today.
But yeah, to your point, to everybody's point, is there a better backup option for Palace? Probably, but he's got the experience.
There has to be. They could have loaned Slonina.
It is weird to juxtapose those two, but again, like I feel like experience counts a lot. And again, like it's good that Slonina is playing well on a real team in a real league. But last season, I forget, we talked about where he was playing. Like it wasn't relevant. I wanted to say it was the French second division, or he was playing in Switzerland or something. I don't know, but
yeah. All right, well, that's all I got. Did you have anything else you wanted to go over? I'm done trashing Turner now.
Okay. Well, we can allot some more time for that next week if he plays in the friendly.
Yeah.
But, no, I think
I'm sure I'll have plenty of fresh material if he plays, so.
Yeah, we'll have some stuff. Well, maybe we'll focus on Yanks in the ranks next week, but we'll have some stuff on the international break. I don't really know what else is going on because it looks like friendlies and stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll catch up. We'll catch up on Yanks transfers and any international news. There will probably be some transfers. Like the Dutch transfer window is still open. I think Saudi's still open.
It's really important to me that we cover all the Dutch transfers.
Yeah. Well, there'll be like outgoings. I think. Like maybe what I'm saying is like maybe they find a solution with Osimhen. I don't know. So yeah, well, I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about.
And we'll talk again about how much we hate like having an international break after 2 weeks of matches.
It's so silly. It's really silly. We can talk about how stupid the new format is for the Champions League and stuff like
Perfect.
that. We'll have plenty to talk about. Maybe we can debate whether NCAA is more or less corrupt than FIFA. too.
Yeah, I'll get in on that. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can talk about Chelsea's experience in the Conference League. All kinds of interesting stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, dislike, whatever. Leave reviews. Join our Discord. There will be a link in the description of this show on YouTube and on whatever your favorite podcast platform is. But we'll catch you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, everybody.